Morning. This is Maria Casey. I am the project attorney for the Northern Schuylkill Community Development Project. And we're here today to talk about clean slate and expungement of your criminal records. The Northern Schuylkill Project is a project that helps income eligible residents in the boroughs of Ashland, Frackville, Girardville, Monnoy City, and Shenandoah in a variety of proceedings: landlord-tenant, evictions, utility matters, SSI, disability. We also are interested in helping you make sure that your record has been either clean slated or if you need to look at expungement. So this is a project that is geared towards the northern boroughs that I just mentioned. However, it's also in conjunction with MidPenn Legal Services, and MidPenn Legal Services is based throughout Pennsylvania. There's an office in Pottsville, and there are offices in various counties. So we work together to provide these legal services if you are income eligible. And today we are doing a presentation for you on clean slate and expungement. And basically, the clean slate law came into being maybe 2 years ago, roughly, and the purpose was to take away certain nonviolent crimes, summaries and misdemeanors. And it has had a very good effect in helping people to get jobs, keep jobs. It helps on a wide range of topics. So we are very happy for that. In addition to what we call clean slate, there's also expungement, which has been around for a long time, and that is a complete destruction of your criminal record. You usually have to file a petition with the court. I am the clerk of courts in Schuylkill County, so in that county you would file a petition with my office and pay a fee. There are also other forms available to people if you want to get rid of a criminal conviction. Pardon is one of them. That has to go through the Board of Pardons and then be approved by the governor. By far the most common vehicle has been expungement petitions, but now with this clean slate coming into play, your charges are automatically wiped clean. Again, they are limited to mainly nonviolent crimes, misdemeanors, and summary offenses. I mentioned a little bit about why it's so important to have a clean criminal history. Obviously, your job, which we discussed, also your personal relationships, your credit score, and your ability to find a place to live. Certain landlords will not rent to people with criminal records. Also, you may lose important benefits. We have a little chart here that explains that if you have some unpaid cost fines or you have some other charges, there are certain programs that may not be available to you. And again, that's very important to a lot of our clients, that they be able to get these benefits. Basically, in order to clear your criminal history in Pennsylvania, you have the expungement procedure, which I discussed briefly, and you also have the certain diversion programs like ARD, Accelerated Rehabilitation Disposition. That after a year, if you get through the program and you're clean for a year, that will allow you to have your charges wiped clean. There are also other places you can go to check to see if you do have charges that may not have been, as we said, clean slated under this new program. One of those is the AOPC, that's the Administrative Office of the Pennsylvania Courts. We're showing you the website. The state police do maintain criminal records for a very long time. There is an access and review feature there called Patch. FBI reports will keep your criminal record indefinitely. Some people do commercial background checks. We get a lot of calls from, say, military recruiters and certain employment places looking to check on someone's background. And then there are these various internet sites, truthfinder.com. There are many that will list a criminal background. If you cannot find your criminal record, there could be a few reasons. If it's a juvenile record, they're generally sealed because the age of the person is under 18. A federal record might only come up on an FBI report. And again, that would be something that would be very difficult to expunge. And also records from another state. In Pennsylvania, those sites that I showed you are for Pennsylvania records only. And of course, if you were arrested, but the charges were dropped and you never did go to court, then you would not be able to see the record because none exist. Now, we talked briefly about access and review. That is from the Pennsylvania State Police, and you have to send for it if you think that there is a record there. The juvenile records are generally available if a defendant was 14 or older at the time of the crime and it was a serious felony. And there is, again, an expungement procedure for juvenile records. You may do it 5 years once the supervision, after 5 years, once supervision is ended. Costs and fees for expungements, again, that is done through either your local clerk of courts and or prothonotary. In a lot of counties, they are one and the same office. In Schuylkill County, they are separate offices, but there are fees and they vary. In our case, it's $149 in Schuylkill County. And then even with Clean Slate, you still are able to file an expungement petition. Some people just wait for their records to be clean slated, but if that's not the case, you may try to file an expungement petition if they are not taken care of. So this Clean Slate, what does it do? Well, as I said earlier, it takes away most nonviolent misdemeanor convictions, but you have to have 10 conviction-free years, and they have to be misdemeanors of the second or third degree and ungraded. It automatically seals convictions unless you've been convicted of a felony, and 2 or more offenses are graded M1s, which is the most serious misdemeanor. Also, indecent exposure and a few other crimes that would be sexual in nature will preclude it, will preclude the automatic sealing. So with the Clean Slate law, it, as I said, will automatically seal most cases that are nonviolent misdemeanors and summary convictions, but you have to stay conviction free. Again, any kind of violent crimes, sexual offenses are generally not going to be sealed. And if you've not stayed out of the criminal activity, and you've had convictions within 10 years, or you had a first degree felony, or you've had 2 or more felonies or first degree misdemeanors in the last 15 years, or 4 or more convictions in the last 20 years, then you generally will not be able to have this Clean Slate procedure take place. And you also must be current and paying all your court fines and costs. So how do you know if your cases have been clean slated? In many counties, you may simply go to the clerk of court's office or prothonotary and ask a clerk there to check, because they will have access to see if it has been done for you. There's also mycleanslatepA.com, which is on the screen now, or the UJS portal, and the site for that is listed as well. So you have a variety of ways to do it to see if your case has been done, and many cases have been clean slated over the last 2 years. What if you have federal charges? There's no sealing of federal records right now. So again, this clean slate or sealing would apply to state convictions only. So when you apply for a job, do you have to tell your employer about your criminal record if you have a case that's been clean slated? No, the answer is you do not have to declare a criminal background if your case has been clean slated, which is extremely important. And again, if it's been clean slated, an employer would generally not have access to be able to see that. So if you're asked, do you have a record? You do not have to say you do if the record has been sealed or if you had it expunged. And employers are told they cannot make a decision to not hire a person based on a criminal record. So, I would feel comfortable telling you if your record has been either expunged or clean slated, you do not have to declare that on a job application. What records are still accessible though? Well, law enforcement may always look at sealed records. Children and youth, Department of Human Services, they have access to sealed records. In a protection from abuse case, they would also be accessible. If there is some kind of employment matter involving a lawsuit with your employer, in certain instances, the employer may access those. Any federal required background check, yes, that definitely, they may access your records. And then admission to the Pennsylvania bar. If you go through law school and you then apply to take the bar test, you would have to disclose if you had any type of record. And then, of course, any application that you make for a job where you're going to be around children, generally they will check all of your records. A few other things that aren't as common, but if you apply for gun ownership, or if you're applying for international travel, or if you're getting a hazmat license. So you would want to make sure that you do disclose those. And people do ask routinely, well, do I put this on my application for a firearm? The better course is yes, that should be declared. And housing is another area that I touched on briefly in the beginning. Again, certain landlords, particularly the bigger landlord companies, will do a background check. You do not have to disclose your criminal record on your rental application if you had it either expunged or sealed. And they still may try to access it, they being the landlords, but again, it's unlikely they will have access to it. So you do not have to disclose it if it's been expunged or if it's been sealed. Now, there is a petition process that we talked about briefly. If you cannot get your record sealed, there is a form for petitions called Limited Access Under the Law. And again, you go to that UJS portal and you may file a petition seeking to have any serious convictions purged. Now, will that be done? Not in all cases, but it's definitely worth a try, as is a pardon. You may be eligible for a pardon. Again, it's a rarer course to take, but you certainly might be eligible for that. For a pardon, it's misdemeanor and felony convictions. You should wait at least 5 years from the completion of the sentence and 10 years from the completion of any, 5 years from the completion of any misdemeanor sentence, 10 years from the completion of any felony sentence. And again, has to be approved by the Board of Pardons. But the Board of Pardons is currently hearing a lot more cases, particularly for marijuana offenses. And you might have a good chance. So it's certainly worth a try. I would recommend you get an attorney though. And resources that are available that we went through here earlier. Again, the UJS portal, which I'm showing right now, where you can check to see what your record is, and also a request for a criminal record check through the Pennsylvania State Police, and that's epatch.state.pa.us. And of course, legal aid, MidPenn Legal Services, we listed those numbers, and then CLS of Philadelphia.org. They have very competent attorneys who could help you through this process. And then our service is available as well in the Northern Schuylkill boroughs. So we're here to help you with this process, whether it be to do a petition for expungement, or just to see if you do have a record, or if you want to go for a pardon. And we would like to assist you with that. Thank you.